let's go back to Proverbs. And we're still dealing with family, friends, and fidelity. I'm good. Thank you. Thank you. And we will let's go in 9, and I'm reading out of a little different translation. That's not a knock on the King James Bible, but I will share with you I'm hesitant to say the more translations you get, the better, but if it increases your understanding about what's being said and the time it's being said and who's saying it and who they're talking to, King James kind of makes it a little difficult. Yeah. And I know most of you have a Hebrew, Greek study Bible, and you have one. Some translators meant well. Some knew what they were doing. And we just need to be careful in not only what we study, because you should study, but check the source. Check the source. In fact, in these days, you almost need to fact check everybody. Now, I know in politics, there's a reason they don't want to be fact checked, but we need to fact check even in our lives. See, if we fact check, some of our testimonies would change. It wouldn't be the way we told it if it were to be fact checked. Now, I know fact check is not in the Bible, but it's not a bad thing. It almost, it kind of keeps you honest, except for the fact that even those fact checking may have some biases. But in these days where we've got a lot of decisions that we have to make personally, folks, more than ever, we need God's wisdom. We do. And I'm not just saying that because I'm in a house of worship, and that's how church people talk. I'm not in that vein. I'm not in that vein. This is a serious time, and we need to stop kind of playing religious games. I mean, everybody, the jig is up. Each one of our lives is on the line. See, you accept unwise counsel and then you follow through, you will get the consequences of the unwise counsel. This is serious. This is serious. Like I said, I mean, there's some decisions each one of you are going to have to make in the coming year. And regardless of where you get counsel, and myself included, I don't care who it is. If it's another human being, consider the source. Be respectful, but consider the source. Each time, consider the source. And if you can, make sure what they're saying out of their mouth, that their lifestyle and their way of living matches what they're saying. Because, see, in certain realms of worship, you get credit for whatever you say. If you say the right thing, you're assumed that, hey, they're one of us. And that's not always the case. It's that serious that we need to take things that serious. This isn't time for cute. It's not. It's, hey, you listen to the wrong thing and then follow through on it, it could cost you your life. And then those that remain behind, all they can say is, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Well, if you didn't know, why did you say anything? Why didn't you just be honest and say, hey, I'm not sure? Every one of you know your situation. What might work for me may not work for you. What might work for you may not work for me. Each one of you have a health history. You know whether you have an allergy. You know whether or not, you can take certain things. Hey, if you're going to put something in your body, and again, that's your decision you've got to make. Try to find out what's in it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not here. I can only die for me. And I love you enough that I don't want to say something and you take what I say and it costs you your life. I don't want that responsibility. I have enough trouble trying to keep Barry alive. Folks, we need his wisdom. And let all the rhetoric go. There's a lot of rhetoric out there. And people that we thought were wise are not as wise as we thought. And that's why I say in every situation, myself included, consider the source. Where is this coming from? What's your agenda? Where are you trying to guide me? Three classes of people that are very prevalent right now. And it's a race for eyes and ears. Professors, they want to shape your thinking. Politicians, they want to shape your way you live by government. And preachers. Each one of those people, they earn their living by words. That's how they earn their living. Now, the everyday man that either works for somebody, and when I say man, I mean women also. Most of us, we either have a business or we work a job, or we're retired living off of our work. We're just everyday people. We're just everyday people. But those three groups, and when I say college professors, you can throw some teachers in there, but, and let me say this, there's good and there's not so good in each one of the groups. But those three groups, they all over the air. You can't turn on your, even if you got a Roku TV and you go to YouTube, one of those three are going to be on there saying something. And again, I say to you, regardless of who it is, because see, some people fit, they can almost fit in all three categories. In fact, I'm not going to call a name, but it was somebody that had run for, was going to run for the presidency, and she didn't do as well. But man, they had her on YouTube, and it was interesting. I'll be kind. It was interesting. And I mean, you know, there are people that follow this person. They listen to them. They think, you know, hey, they got to be wise. You know, they're in government. They were running for the highest office in the land. They have professed that they are Christian. And they are college grad. Folks, consider the source each time. You may fare better. You may fare better. Because remember now, that's your life that's on the line. And I'm not sharing this, I'm not abdicating fear. Our people, and I'm concerned about everybody, but I'm really concerned about you non-immigrants. Because, see, we want to belong to something so bad, we just grab a hold and we hold on, and sometimes they're sending us on our banquet table, they sending us sludge, and we just eating it up because we want to belong to something. Again, I'm not saying we're better, but there's something special about you, about who you're a descendant of. And so when you hear a lot of people saying things, it doesn't necessarily include you. Now, you've been made to think, oh, no, yeah, you with us, you in our camp. Not really. Not really. I mean, you know, saints, it's almost at a point where you really can't trust anybody. Now, I know that don't sound very church-like because, you know, we're to love everybody, give people the benefit of the doubt. All I'm saying is consider the source and please be careful. Please, and you know, all of us, you know, you can, regardless of where you are in terms of your knowledge of Scripture, even if you've studied mostly out of the King James Bible, you have a level of discernment. You know, you can almost sense, and I know that sounds too earthy for some, but actually they're one and the same. You can sense when someone really cares about you. You can sense that. Again, like I said, we have to learn how to be respectful. But when it don't sound right to you, don't question that. If it don't sound right to you, don't do it. I don't care how many statistics, facts. Listen, anybody of average intelligence can take figures, statistics, and make it say whatever it is they want it to say. Anybody can do that. In fact, unfortunately, a lot of that's been done in the scriptures. A lot of that has been done in the scriptures. I've said to you years ago, even your reference books and stuff, research the people that wrote it. Find out who they studied under. And you're going to see a trail. You're going to see a trail. See, people validating people don't mean a whole lot. And in those three groups, mostly they validate one another. Or when it's time for office, or it's time to see who got a bigger ministry or whatever, then they start attacking one another. You know, professors. Oh, man, again, man, one of the proudest moments of my life then, I was working, y'all know, I was working in insurance in Houston, and I had to fly to Princeton University. And I was like, oh, man, and I remember now, that's before I found out what I am embarking upon. Man, I was like, oh, man. And, you know, I was like, man, you know, I felt like I could have graduated from here. I was taken back with that. But, again, like I said, I'm not saying they're all bad, but some professors, you know, they don't have much love for the Creator. And I don't care what their subject matter is, their gospel. For some of them. Now again, I'm not saying all, because there are some professors that do understand who made it all possible. But it's alarming how many kids, you know, go to some of these universities, and I just use that one because I got a chance to go there to do some insurance work. Harvard University. A lot of you probably don't know, but China sends a whole lot of money to Harvard. And again, you don't hear much of that reported on the news, but it should be. Am I talking against China? Nope. But it's saints, there's so much going on, and we don't have a clue. We're playing checkers, and people that are trying to do us in, they're playing 3-level chess. And it's going to get serious. And again, I'm here to inform. I know the stuff that I watch is boring. Nobody likes to watch a lot of that finance stuff, but I'm going to tell you something. And it ain't just because I like money. You see, politicians are painting a picture of things one way. Folks, The wiser thing to do is follow the money. See, anywhere that there's a central bank, and I'm not going to stay on that. We're going to get to, because see, believe it or not, what I'm sharing with you, it's in Proverbs. I've just brought it up to date. See, the way we even study, stop studying like you studying a college curriculum. You study to implement it in your life. What you're studying, you're supposed to be living. Not just studying to impress people and then giving bad counsel. That doesn't jive. And now more than ever, just pause if somebody asks, well, Barry, what do you think of that? What do you think of this? Just pause for a second. Just wait. Don't think, hey, I got to have an answer ready. No. No, this is somebody else. See, when we start realizing these are people's lives, they're not just numbers. They're not just people that's going to drop something in a basket. They're not just more minds that I can shape. Because, see, academia really thinks they are elite also. See, when we hear elite, we mostly just think people with money. No, the elite also are people that think a certain way. And unfortunately, some of them are so brainy, which nothing wrong with that. But now I'm going to borrow a church term. Their minds, which are a beautiful gift, have become carnal. And I've said to you before, and I really am, particularly you non-immigrants, if you don't think, someone or something will do your thinking for you. Regardless of who you affiliate with. And we have taken it on the chin because we don't think. Again, search the scriptures. I remember, and it just stays in my mind. And he looked out, and all that he made was what? Good. Now, when did that change? See, the Most High, and again, I am not on his council. I am just one small, insignificant part of creation. That's all I am. That's all I am. And my desire is not to be on any of your side. My desire is I want to be on his team, and I want to stay on his team, even if he put me way at the end of the bench. I'd rather sit on his bench than to be a front runner for some of these frauds. Some of these people that are espousing unwise counsel, leading people to destruction. And of course, the preacher's got a built-in bad guy. His name is the devil. The politician's got a built-in bad guy. It's the other party. And that includes the independents. I'm not letting the independents off the hook either. They are just not organized enough. And really, when the independents vote, they still vote for one of the other party candidates unless they write a name in. But the professors, those that are against the Most High, those silly guys, for as bright as they are, they choose to make their enemy the Most High by saying he don't exist. And that, you come in, and listen, they have changed the minds of believers. They have changed the minds of those that they've gotten, those that follow Judaism, Islam, all of that. They fighting everything. We got to consider the source each time, because your life depends on it. Your health depends on it. Like I said, we got some decisions to make. And again, what might work for one person may not work for the other person. Our makeup, hey. Yeah, I could have threw physicians in there. I had some more P's too, but the 3 that I shared with you, I was like, man, these cats, they want somebody to listen to them. Now, why do they want somebody to listen to them? Are they doing this because of their love of people? Or do they need numbers? Or do they need to supplement their lifestyle? Because think about it. Professors, if folks stop going to school, they out of business. They out of business. Preachers, if that offering plate looked too skimpy, could be tough. Hard to get the government out, though. Now, do you want big government or little government? You decide. Also, this health decision you got to make, there may be some strings attached. And let me say this, because some of us still caught up in this stupid political thing. It didn't matter. What's coming down the pike was coming down the pike. Death was coming down the pike. And don't be all dismayed if your if your candidate didn't win. All you got to do is wait another 4 years. That's all. Why do we get so bent out of shape? Hey, it's either a 4 or an 8-year run. So it's all of this name calling and, hey, the whole financial system may reset. I don't know. Again, I ain't a prophet. But just like they study their charts, the finance guys do the same thing. Now, they are more accurate. So when I hear people telling me, well, I'm waiting on this and I'm waiting on that, I'm like, well, you go ahead and wait. I'm following the money trail. U.S. currency is the reserve currency. That may or may not change. I don't know. But these are things, folks, that we need to no, you don't have to worry about it like I do. You don't have to concern yourself like I do. But somebody got to keep an eye on things while the rest of us, life is good. Life is good. See, that's where a lot of us are. And it's dangerous out here, man. People are plotting, trying to get what you got. I mean, they really are. And they have come to us in a whole lot of ways. Some of them have won your trust. Let's go to 9. I see you up there, Reg. You eating them crackers? I'm serious. And you can tell me the truth, because we in the church. Okay. Well, all right. Brother, I just want you to live. Okay. All right. Listen, 9. Wisdom has built herself a house. She has carved her 7 pillars. She has prepared her food, spiced her wine, and she has set her table. Now, I could stop there, because it said spiced her wine. That means add a little kick to it. She has sent out her young girls with invitations. She calls from the heights of the city. Now listen to this. Whoever is unsure of himself, turn in here. That sounds like somebody trying to give some counsel. See, everybody's standing out on the corner preaching. What are they preaching? Whoever is unsure of himself. Well, now why would you want somebody unsure of themselves? Because they're easier to lead. They're easier to deceive. They're easier to manipulate. Do you know that there are people that could come in here and just by looking, by perusing the room, they know what things they can say to certain people just by the way you're sitting. Folded arms mean something. I don't, I'm not offended. Folded arms means something. Bad posture means something. If you fall asleep, you're sleepy. Folks, there's so much information out, and a lot of it is not factual. But some of our employment situations may be based on whether or not you get vaccinated or not. You got to make a decision. And again, I'm not saying either. I'm just saying these are things you need to be contemplating now so that when the time comes, you'll have some idea of how you're going to proceed, particularly guys that have families. Because if something happened to you, what's going to happen to the family? And again, I'm not telling you to, and I'm not telling you not to. All I'm saying is consider the source. Each time, consider the source. Where is this information coming from? Do they have an objective in broadcasting what they're broadcasting? Or do they just want people to follow them? And why do you want people to follow you? Why? We're barely responsible for ourselves. That's a serious thing, people. Oh my goodness, listen to what they got to say. Whoever is unsure of himself, turn in here. To someone weak-willed, she says, oh my goodness, come and eat my food. Drink the wine I have mixed. Now look at what she says here. Don't stay unsure of yourself, but live. Walk in the way of understanding. Walk in the way of understanding. We know it says, in all your getting wisdom, along with that, get understanding. And that's why I keep bringing up that manna bird comparison. A manna bird can quote scripture if he hear it long enough, but does he understand what he's saying? And you don't want to be that way as a believer. Just because you can quote scripture backwards and forwards and sideways, if it's not being demonstrated in your life, you're on par with the manna bird or whatever. I'm not calling you names. I'm just saying, wake up, folks, wake up, and consider the source, including myself. I'm not asking you to follow me. I'm not asking you to do what I do. That might get you in destruction. And another thing, I don't know whether the Most High would hold me responsible for that or not. Mankind has sold us a lot of things about, well, I'm responsible for this, I'm responsible for that. Who said? I mean, really, who said? Again, your group, everybody validating one another, that's not good enough anymore. And you shouldn't settle for that either. But again, you don't have to listen to me. You can turn me off, and maybe some of you already have, and that's okay. I'm not offended. Maybe you have wise counsel that say, hey, he's foolish. Okay, follow that if that's what's being said. But I will say this. In your considering the source, your rule of measurement should be Torah. Let me say that again. See, because if you use anything else, you're going to be fooled. Use Torah. Use his teachings and instructions. And whatever you hear, if it matches up and it's in line, you stand a good chance. But if it's like, wait a minute, where did that come from? Council of Nicaea. Do some research on that. Do some research on that. Walk in the way of understanding. He who corrects a scoffer only gets insulted. Do we have people like that today? Listen again. He who corrects a scoffer only gets insulted. Man, we have insulted one another. Right in families. Right in families. Reproving a wicked man becomes his blemish. If you reprove a scoffer, he will hate you. I mean, we have seen in the past few months, we've seen this. We have seen this. The professor's been doing it for years. Years, way before I even went to school. And again, I'm not saying all of them. Politicians, man, when it come time for office, and look, not just national, Politics is local, folks, if we haven't figured that out. And again, I'm not saying all politicians are not so good. A lot of them are very good. A lot of them are very sincere. But a lot of them do what we just read. They get insulted and they hate. And I ain't talking about hate like the young folks say, you know, you hate now, you hate now. No, they being mean. They don't like you if you don't see things their way. And it's sad to say, but some of that has also seeped into the believers' world too. I'll be honest, I have been embarrassed, but I should have followed my first thought. But see, I had a whole lot of folks blowing my phone up because, see, I got some acquaintances and friends. As soon as something don't go right with church folk, my phone is ringing. How you like me now, Pastor? If I could get through that phone, I'd punch him. But I'll tell you, saints, as we like to say, the world is laughing hard. The world is laughing, some of the world, not all. Because I've said it before, some of them want to believe that what you're in and what you're doing has merit. Hey, but listen here. It said, if you reprove a scoffer, he will hate you. Listen at this. If you reprove a wise man, he will love you. See, you can also gauge when you are talking with a person and you let them say what they have to say. And then you say, well, say, brother, say, sister, have you thought about it? Have you looked at it from this way? And a lot of us are entrenched in whatever doctrine, teachings, whatever preachings that we've got. And I ain't changing, this was this and this was this and it was good enough. And hey, listen, if you're in a quest for truth, be willing to change. Hey, your professors, your rabbis, they weren't always on point. I'm telling you, and I don't want to call the people that were doing a lot of the translations, a lot of the Hebrew terms. The scriptures have been translated to point you in a certain direction. That's all I want to say right now because I'm not interested in starting another movement. We got too many. I just want the truth. I just wish that what was given from the Most High had gotten to us untouched. But again, some people meaning well, and some people looking for power. You had some of them, and some people just think, hey, I can run things. I was like, and that's something that I have a lot of people say, well, wait a minute, man. Why y'all had to get in there and say? I said, listen, I didn't do it. But that's a good question you got. I don't know. I wish it had, even what we call the Dead Sea Scrolls. Did you notice a certain group got a hold of it and they held it for years? Who the heck are they? They got to hold that information for years. Hey, his teachings and instructions is for all humankind creation. Not a group of, well, I'm the righteousness of the. Hey, I don't need you to masticate nothing for me now. Give me truth. You get out the way and let my Father teach me. You've done the best you could. But saints, we're starting to find holes, like Swiss cheese. Doesn't that have holes in it? And this is serious. This is serious. Listen, when the Most High speaks, it stays. When we speak, it'll go for a while, but when we expire, so again, even in your study, keep that in mind, what I just shared with you. Because if he said it, can't no man in creation change it. I mean, yes, they can write books. Yeah, they can do that. But it don't change the fact that he said it. And that's what you ought to put your existence on. We need it more and more because too many people want to give you direction. And if you don't know by now, the jig is up on a whole lot of folk ain't quite as smart as they had been saying. And they ain't so much in the know as they've been saying. Give to a wise man, and he grows still wiser. Teach a righteous man, and he will learn still more. See, again, I don't know how you felt when this thing hit. But I was like, my goodness. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Everybody in detention. Now, again, now I know some people think, well, not me. Okay, I know you still, what is it? I don't receive that. They still doing that? Okay. Whatever, okay. And listen. Take the magic out of Christian theology. Ain't no magic. Listen, a lot of that stuff we got from Greek-speaking people. All you got to do, any of you all studied Greek mythology? Enough said. Enough said, particularly with King James Version. It's not magic. The Most High is not a genie. Don't get caught up in that stuff. I mean, the way that things have been presented to us, again, Check your sources. And again, I'm not trying to start a fight with nobody. I just want to live. I just want to live, and I want you to live. You know, I don't get an extra dime out of any of you living. I don't have a hidden agenda. I have no desire to lead you anywhere. That's not, No, I just see a group of people that are continually left out of the loop. And the information we get a lot of times is not only a day old, sometimes it's centuries old. And a lot of the information we've been given has not equipped us to do very well, while others have prospered. And I'm not just talking about stuff. I'm talking about quality of life before the true and living God. That's what Torah gives you. That's the benefits of following his teachings and instructions. Now, that's not to say you'll never have no problem. See, and that's another thing. That message is taught too. Hey, if you believe a certain way, everything will be all right. No, it's not quite. We are going to have challenges. We are going to have challenges. But ask your maker. And the beautiful part about it, some things you might not say to your parents, you can say to him. I mean, don't get stupid. But he does, you know, he's not frantic. He's not nervous. As the young kids say, he got this. I mean, because those of us that have studied, and it's like, well, you know, I mean, I see this, and what's going on in Israel, and who over there, and how you going to do all of this? And I'm like, you know, when I get in that mind, I say, oh, stop. That's too high for you, pea-brain. Get back in the instructions. Get back in the teachings. Let him worry about that. See, that's his area. And so it gets my head out of the esoteric and get back down to, see, Torah is earthy. Let me say that again. That felt good in here. Torah is earthy. You do this, you don't do that. Why did he say that? Oh, just for us to study it and be able to recite it? No. No, we're to live it. And there will come a time where people will come to you because you follow Torah and they, hey man, show me how you do what you do. And you say, hey man, the one that made you, the same rules that apply to me, they apply to you. Come on. I'm going to walk with you. Now when it's time for you to go home, you go home. You can't stay with me. That's another thing, but we'll touch on that a little later. That's some other decisions we're going to have to make. Family. See, it's time. The time for talking is over. Every one of us are proving what we are and what we're not. Myself included, please. I'm not one of them you. I'm not one of those. I'm asking them, I say, can I, you know, I don't want to hurt nobody, I don't want to kill nobody, but can I just get some water balloons? I'll make it warm water. And then my evil inclination, no, freeze it. But I don't want to kill nobody. I don't want to hurt nobody. But I do want to throw some water balloons at folks right while they in full tilt. That's not your place, Barry. Oh, Lord. Give to a wise man, and he grows still wiser. Teach a righteous man, and he will learn still more. And then they say, the fear of Adonai, you can say Yahweh or the Most High, is the beginning of wisdom. And knowledge of holy ones is understanding. Holy ones is understanding. That's not a typographical error. For with me your days will be increased. Years will be added to your life. Now, hey, I want that. You know, because I've been asking, I said, well, you know, now I heard somewhere in Genesis 120, can I get more? And I imagine you said, well, we'll see if you're going to get to 120. But I'm going to do what I can to get there. But you know, would it be so bad if I'm living a life of his teachings and instructions and I get to 115 and expire? Now, I've asked him, I said, well, now, Father, if I'm going to just be sitting over in a corner drooling out my mouth, that's, for me, that's not a good quality of life. And please don't misunderstand. I'm not making fun of people. I'm just saying, when I say quality of life, he knows, I mean, with my limbs, everything working, and who knows, I might still be working. I don't know. I don't know. But I know for me, I said, well, Barry, you know, are you going to retire? I said, well, is retirement in the Bible? And I'm not knocking anybody that has retired, and I pray that it be wonderful, and I pray you don't run out of money. Because in America, you need money to live. And I'm going to end with this. If you are wise, your wisdom helps you. But if you scoff, you bear the consequences alone. Now, that's something to think about. See, because I'm like, wow, he says you bear the consequences alone. Now, let me ask you this, because if that's what he said, that's what he said. But those of you that love people, it still hurts you when you see a loved one make a bad decision. Now, they will suffer the full brunt of the consequences, but your heart is still heavy. And when your heart is no longer heavy, have your feelings changed? I'm a little leery of people that can just kind of make a break real quick, because I'm like, you know, and hey, look, and sometimes in life you got to pick up and go on. I understand that. But we just read, he says, hey, if you scoff at wisdom, he don't know what he's talking about, a big dummy. Okay, that's all right. You can say that, you can think that or whatever. But he said, but if you scoff, you bear the consequences alone. Which brings me back to quality of life. See, saints, Listen, I know how we've been taught, but you don't have to live a life where you're suffering silently. You can live a good quality of life. The one that made you, that's what he wants for you. But we've been taught to think the more suffering I do, that somehow the Most High will be pleased with that. Well, let me share this with you. If you're on God's plan, is suffering, diverting, or changing your path of getting done what you believe you were created to do? Anything that's keeping you from making progress in that thing, particularly as it pertains to the Most High, you got to get through that, get around it, or kick a field goal with it. Each one of us has the responsibility of finding out what it is he wants from us and get on it. And so if you've made some decisions in your life and you're constantly being bombarded with stuff, and while you're dealing with stuff, you ain't on your job. Think about that. The coach giving, all right, Barry, get in there. Well, Lord, wait a minute, hold it. Well, I'm dealing with this. Get in the game, son. Hey, when the coach call you, when he call your number, get in the game. And that's the way we ought to be living, ready for when he calls and say, hey, okay, get in this thing, get in this situation, straighten it out, get it going, but don't do it your way. I will instruct you. And see, when you're not encumbered with a bunch of junk, you can hear better. You're more sensitive to what it is that he really wants. Because sometimes we kind of, sort of got an idea, kind of, sort of, but kind of, sort of these days can get you killed. If you're unsure, check with the manufacturer. Not another imperfect vessel. Because some people are squirrelier than you are. Oh my goodness. And stop always gravitating to the bizarre. Peculiar is peculiar. Weird is weird. God bless you. Pastor, will you come?